Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. Today is going to be a little bit different, and this is actually going to be my Q&A video for reaching 1,500 subscribers. Now, I asked people in my Discord as well as YouTube comments, basically anybody. I just advertised that if you have a question, feel free to comment it, and I will answer it in this video. So I've picked about 10 questions that I will be answering today, and they are all related to the channel, gold making, WoW, basically anything. So stay tuned and hopefully you'll learn something from these. So the first question is, how long have I been playing WoW? Now, I will go into how I actually started playing in a little bit. However, I bought my personal account in 2013, right after the release of Mist of Pandaria. However, I have played before Mist of Pandaria, and I started in Cataclysm, but it was late Cataclysm, so it was about 2012. So I've been playing for about 8 years, going on to 9 years. The second question is, what was the reason you started WoW and gold making specifically? So for WoW itself, I actually started playing because of my cousins played the game. My family would travel and visit them a few times a year, and I would be so excited because I would be playing this weird, crazy MMO game, which was WoW, and I was just so interested in it. And so they promised me that whenever they're not on their computers and when they're sleeping or whatever, then I can play. So I would wake up super early because they were teenagers at the time. So they woke up, around noon, the classic teenage thing. So I'd wake up super early, grab my cousin's computer, play as long as I can until they wake up, and then I'll just sit and watch them play. Or sometimes they'll sit and watch me play. And that's how I started. And finally, in about 2013, I finally bought the game myself because I saved up enough money, and I remember going to Walmart actually and buying the physical disc of the Cataclysm game. And I came home and I was so excited to play it, and I put it into my computer, and I didn't buy the base game, and it wouldn't let me play it, and I was so upset. And so I had to wait a day in order to go back to the store and buy the actual base game so I could play. But that's how I started playing. Now, with gold making, I did not start until Legion. It was about mid-Legion, actually. That was when I finally started being interested in gold, because since I started playing during Mist of Pandaria on my own account, I never really hit max level until WoD came out. And it was mid-WoD, and I finally leveled a character to max level. And so Legion was the first expansion that I was actually able to play from the start. I had a max character going into Legion, and I stayed up for the release date, stuff like that. So Legion was really the first expansion that I fully experienced in a timely manner, if that makes sense. And so basically I saw all the cool mounts people were getting, and I was watching these cool YouTube videos about people making millions and doing everything like that. So I decided to give it a try. And actually, some of the YouTubers that I still watch today, and they're super good. And I really just wanted to save up in order to buy the game myself without having to pay that $15 expansion. So ultimately, I started just making gold because I wasn't a big mythic and dungeon runner, since I didn't really have a lot of friends that played the game, and I never really joined a guild that was about that. So I just wanted to find a way that I could still enjoy the game and play it a lot, but without having to do current content. So I started making gold. Now the third question is, how old am I, and what do I do to make gold making, and what is my plan in the future? Now, to answer the first question, I am still a teenager, and I will actually be going to college in the fall. So that's really cool, stuff like that. And I will put it out there that I am indeed a girl. A lot of people ask me that question. I did not get this specifically for the Q&A. However, I do get a lot of comments about it. So yes, putting that out there. Yeah. What made me do gold making? I kind of already answered that question, but I really just wanted to find a way to enjoy the game. I, of course, didn't want to raid, do mythic, stuff like that. I didn't really have a team to do it with, so it was just pugs, and they were very bad, and I just had a bad experience with it. So I found something that was kind of math related, technical, gold making, and I really enjoyed that in school. So that kind of led me on to making gold. what is my plan for the future? Now, I hope to make a ton of videos and keep pumping them out. WoW related, I hope to start actually making some other content rather than just YouTube videos, whether that's one-on-one content about teaching you guys some stuff, some group content, some collabs are coming in the future, some just unique gold making stuff that I haven't seen people do before, and I'm very excited about it. Now, besides the YouTube channel and besides gold, I am going off to college, studying, getting my degree. So I'm also very excited about that, but no need to worry for you guys because I will not be canceling my videos. I'll be taking my PC to college, all that, so you do not have to worry about that. The fourth question is, can you detail your gold making journey? So I started in Legion, and it was about the time of when Obliterum has become really popular, and it was really, really in high demand. And I don't know if anybody made gold during Legion, or if they remember this, but there used to be kind of like the scrapping flip about Tide Spray. However, you would make the basic healing and mana potions on your alchemist, and then you would take them to like the obliterator or whatever it's called, the thing that actually turns stuff into Obliterum, and you'll make these really cheap potions, and then you would get the Obliterum ash, and you create them to Obliterum. And so that's how I actually created my first million, because I would just literally log on all day, craft a bunch of potions, scrap them, or whatever the term was, I don't remember, and then just sell the Obliterum on the auction house. And so that's kind of opened my eyes, and I was like, wow, I can actually make gold. Like, I can actually do this, and that's how I made my first million. After that, I got into just leveling professions, because at that time I really only had one character that I played on like 24/7, so I had alchemy, and I believe it was jewel crafting. So I made my new characters. I actually made my main that I currently play in Legion. I used to main a hunter, and then I made a warrior, and now I made a monk. So I created those characters, leveled them up, gained professions, so I can have all the professions in the game, started leveling those, and started getting into more of the crafting scheme. Later into Legion, when like the big crafters and the big current content professions kind of lowered, and like it wasn't very in-depth and like needed at the moment, it was like towards the end, I actually finally leveled a druid. I didn't have a druid for the longest time, and that's when I started getting into mining and gathering and actually doing old world stuff. So I learned about transmog. I made a transmog bank tune, started doing that, which I actually made a lot of gold with, because for some reason I'm very lucky with transmog. So I got like Vanguard leggings, I got jade leggings, I got like 3 jade leggings in like an hour at some point, and it was very, very crazy. And so that's kind of how I started making gold. Started with one profession, found like a niche that I like to do, and then I slowly made more professions, got into gathering, and now I strictly just focus on flipping on the auction house. Now, the 5th question we have is, how much gold do I have? Now, this question is a little hard to answer because there's different forms of gold, as you know. Currently, according to TSM, I have 6.2 million gold, liquid gold. So, like, that's the physical gold I have. On my second account, I have 400,000 gold. That's strictly from flipping and doing stuff like that. And this does not include the different realms I'm on. I'm on about 3 realms currently, and the other realms have about 200k each. So I have about 7 million raw gold, and that does not include the transmog character I have, that does not include the old world character I have, and that does not include the current mats that I'm selling for Shadowlands. So if I were to add everything together, I have about 2,000 items on my transmog character. I have a full bank of old world materials, stuff like that. I would estimate about 8 to 10 million in total gold value, and I have currently about 7 million raw gold right now. Another question we have is, how many hours do you play a day in the game? Now, this question varies depending on the day, but I will say with work as well as school, I don't play as much as I like to. Currently in the school year and on the weekdays, so Monday through Friday, I play about I play about 4 hours a day, 4 to 5 hours a day, mostly it being at night, after classes and after homework and stuff like that. Um, Ever since doing videos, I have put some time into actually editing them and recording them, of course. So some of the times I'm like on the game, however, I'm just like AFK crafting or just checking out the auction house. So I'm not actively playing because I'm doing other things. But I will say about 4 to 5 hours a day. And on the weekends, specifically on like Saturdays and Sundays, um, I play a lot more. I play maybe 6 to 8 hours a day, depending on if I have to work that day, if I have any other outside responsibilities I have to do. And during the summer, I also play about 6 to 8 to 10 hours a day because I'm just home and stuff like that. Somebody asked, what do you do when you first log in and what are your daily priorities? So, what I do is I log in, and it's normally about 12 hours after I posted my last auction. So, I gather up my expired auctions, post them, repost them on the auction house. I check out the daily values of leather, bones, and tide spray to see if anything's cheap enough to sell, to see if anything's cheap enough to buy and send it off to my second character to AFK vendor shuffle. Then I see if there's any cheap herbs that day, for example, death blossom, marrow root, stuff like that, any cheap herbs that I can buy up before the prices go back up, because people have been resetting them a ton. That also goes for meat and other just Shadowlands items. After that, I log into my old world character, pick up all the expires, because I normally only go to this character about once every 2 days, because I forget. Log into him, post up those auctions. I set them for 24 hours because I don't check it again. Then I go to my engineer, which I craft the sky golem materials, do my daily cooldown for the sky golem, and then I make my daily transmutes. And then I just go on my main, and then I normally do my callings currently for Shadowlands. If I haven't done them for the past 2 days, I make sure to do them today so I don't get behind, so I can do all 3 of them. And that's kind of my daily goal, like recap, basically. Log in, just basically do all my expires on all my characters, do my daily cooldowns, do my callings, and then I kind of just sit on the auction house and repost, cancel scan, craft whatever needs to be crafted, and stuff like that. And during this time, my second account is crafting and selling, so I'm making basically some passive gold as I play. Now, my daily priorities, kind of basically what I do in order. My first priorities is get all my expired auctions back on the auction house. My second priority is to make sure I don't forget about any cheap materials that I should buy, make sure I get the value for them. Third priority is doing my dailies from Shadowlands so I don't fall behind on current content. And then my fourth priority is just making sure I restock, recraft, undercut, stuff like that for the rest of the day. Somebody asked, do you play anything besides WoW? And yes, I do. Normally at night, sometimes during the day, I play some party games with my friends, whether that's like Gary's Mod stuff, Town of Salem, just some any games like that. Currently, I am playing Cyberpunk. I'm still finishing my run on that. Right now, I'm just stuck on the side quests, but I do want to complete the storyline and complete that game. So that's my big game I'm playing right now. I have Call of Duty, I have Overwatch, I have Hearthstone. So I do play a lot of other games. And most of the time, I am spending my time on WoW. However, I do like taking a few days to actually play other games as well. Somebody asked, how do you start making gold from zero? How to invest gold in the auction house to flip, and what is the best time to do it? Now I'm going to break this question down. And so the first, how do you start making gold from zero? Now this is a very hard question to answer because all realms are different, regions are different, and there's a lot of factors to actually figure out what you can do. However, I believe that most every gold maker will give this advice, and start with mining and herbalism. The reason for this is because there is no upfront cost. All you have to do is take the time. Go farm some old world ores, some serenite, some arcanite bars. Even currently, go farm some like lacerite ore, go farm marrow root, go do stuff like that. Basically, just take an hour or two, go farm up something and post it on the auction house. They are materials, they are high in value, and they are needed. So they will sell no matter what. And because you have zero expenses going in, it really doesn't matter how you sell them. Of course, if you know you can get 40 gold per, don't sell it at 15 gold per. Wait for the market to go back up. However, you're not losing any gold if you do sell at 15 gold per, since you did not put any gold into it, if that makes sense. So, starting gold from scratch, I definitely will say you need to start gathering and creating a profit margin and having a bank that you are willing to spend before you start flipping. Now, how to invest gold to flip? I would suggest having 200k and you willing to spend about 50k of that. Now, that is being generous. I would want to start flipping with about 100k, but that's not doable for everybody. And also, you have to keep in mind whatever you are willing to invest, you are also willing to lose. For example, you might buy out something for 100k, turns out it went wrong, you bought the wrong material, the market changed the day after, and then now you're down 100k. You have to be okay with losing gold to invest with. So if you have 50k gold, do not invest 50k gold, because if it goes wrong, you're left with zero. You want to make sure you have gold that you are okay with losing before you start flipping. Now, how I figure out what to actually flip, I look at my auction house, I use the Undermine journal, look at the deals, look at companions, look at mounts, look at crafting materials, and that's how I find out what to flip. Also, ores turning into bars and vice versa. Sometimes you can find really cheap bars so you can reset the market. Sometimes you can find really cheap ore which you can buy out, turn into bars, and put it on the market. The best time to do it, if you are talking about posting on the auction house, it's normally during the prime time of your hours, which is normally late at night, after dinner, and in the afternoons on weekends. Weekdays, Tuesdays for US servers are the best because that's reset day. Wednesday is the best for EU servers because that is their reset day. So stuff like that. Of course, it depends on your server, and to ultimately figure out what's best for you, you have to look at your markets, watch it for a few days, and then when you see a common trend of things going lower and being reset, then you can finally buy into the market once you see the price drop. Now, somebody asks about they've been having fun with high-speed thrill of selling alchemy potions and flask. However, they want to give something a try that doesn't need the constant reposting on the auction house. So either middle, long-term investment, stuff like that. Now, I would highly suggest, like I've mentioned before, looking at old world materials. Volatiles, ores, mounts, stuff like that will look really, really good. Now, if you want to look for like a high long-term investment, then you can look into battle pets. Now, this is kind of a more advanced technique, but what you can do is find a realm that has very cheap or expensive battle pets. For example, you might be on a realm that sells a pet for 500 gold, but on another realm it sells for 5,000 gold. So you can buy it out on your current realm, make a character on the new one, you can cage them across platform, and then sell on that other server, and you will make profit. Of course, you cannot send that gold back to your other character, but what you can do is once you, let's say, make 100k on your new realm, you could find a super cheap pet on that realm, which is expensive on your main server. For example, you might find one for 50k, but it goes for 300k on your current realm. So you do that, send it back over, and you basically transfer gold over by getting a sale. This is what I do to start new realms. Of course, this does not have to be cross-realm either. If you see there's one pet on the auction house for 20k and you know you can sell it for 40k, then buy it, put it on the auction house, and it will sell. Another long-term investment is farming transmog. They sell pretty cheap, and you want about 1,000 items on the auction house to get daily sales, depending on your region and your server size. But this is a long-term investment because Of course, you're not going to sell all 1,000 pieces within 30 days. It might take a while. However, there is a short initial investment. After you farm for maybe 5 hours of content, then all you have to do is post it on the auction house and then just repost every day, so you're not constantly refarming. Also, using the Undermine journal to look at deals, daily deals, whether that's Medallions of the Legion, Pocket Fell Spreaders, current Grumpus mounts, stuff like that, you can always buy and flip. Now, the last question today is, how does a massive influx of botters tanking material prices every day affect what you do? A lot of the mats have gone down, but also crafting items have gone down. So, thankfully, my server does not have a lot of botters, at least from what I've seen with the prices. Nothing has tanked drastically. I can only say meat has probably drastically dropped, but I think that's because of skinners with leather farming and stuff, so I don't think that's directly with botters. However, if you are experiencing this, you can use them to your advantage, because eventually those botters will be banned. Multi-boxing is not as prevalent anymore because you're not allowed to use external software, so I would take a chance and buy out those materials if you do see the price dropping a ton with bots. A lot of servers have been having bots with Spirits of Harmony. Ever since Shadowlands dropped, I don't think it's as prevalent anymore, but a lot of botters are still doing it. If you can buy a cheap Spirit of Harmony, you can turn that into so many things. You can use that on your Alchemist, make living steel. You can use it to just do a vendor flip. You can turn it into Trillium, sell that, or you can just stockpile it until the botters get banned, and then the price will go back up. So I ultimately would say invest into those market crashes. Of course, if you don't think they're going to go back up, for example, the raw Seraph wings, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but they are like the chicken wings in Shadowlands. Those have dropped drastically because of how easy they are to get, botters or not. So like that would be an item that you do not want to invest in. However, if it's heavy callus hide and you see that like somebody's dropping a massive amount for cheap, but then the market keeps going back up, then you should be the person to buy out those cheap materials. So when they do go back up, you can make a profit. So ultimately, use the botters to your advantage. Yes, even if the crafting materials go down, the items go down as well, you're still making a profit. It's just not as much because everything's cheaper. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this taught a little bit more about me. This taught a little bit more about Goldmaking, and you can use some of this advice into your own servers. Feel free to join the Discord down below. We are talking a lot about current markets. People are sharing their successes as well as their questions they have. So feel free to join that. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day.